Okay, folks, okay, right. Just going to put on a general. This is the normal, what is it now? Where are we? We're 10 by 8. Extra fine cotton canvas. And I'm just going to put on a general background colors here. Just an underpainting. Mostly I'll be using mineral spirits and mixing it with white. I will use some liquid. Now, all I'm after here is some grey blues in certain areas. Not being too cautious with it. I forgot to get my kitchen towel. And all I'm trying to do here is just creating just some tones just to work with. That's all. And this should dry and set up pretty quickly for me. Nine. I've got that thing happening again, that fizzles over the lens. But that's fine, you can still see what's going on. Right, okay, so now moving up into the sky, and it's a bit pink. So I'm going to do it a little bit pink. Now some liquid, some mineral spirits, a lot of white, and a lot of red, just to turn this into a bit of a pinkish tone up at the top here. Just help to mess this around a little bit. Now the colors that are on the palette here are a bit manky. They have been sitting there for a while and have slightly dried up, so I'm just using them in order to create this background. Nice deep reds here along the bottom. Ba-ba-bum. Yes. And my idea here is to just let this dry up a little bit. Have a wee bit of a waterworks coming along here. We shall see where to be. And your tree for me. Just creating textures, folks, that's all. Creating textures that hopefully you will see whenever it's done. Now, bum. All right, okay, now. I think I had that problem with that lens before, and I can't remember what I'd done to get rid of it. So I can't. Anyway, let me just continue here. As you can see, my goal here, all it is to stain this canvas a little bit for upcoming events, as it were. And what I'll do is a background job. So it will. I'll tell you, I'll be back in a minute. I'll be back in a minute. That's a bit better, yes. In the frosty air. Just let that run into the back of it there. Okay, a little bit of a velvety blue here, keeping it grey as well. A little bit of umber in it there just to help grey that out. A little bit of red. I want it a slightly bit warmer and a little bit more blue. Let me see. Bit darker. I don't think that's dark enough. Now, what is rattling here? That's a bit better. Yeah. What do I think? Just chopping and changing colors. Pushing the brushes here and there and back and forward. And this is off in the distance and I want it to be properly rough. I'm going to use that green that's sitting here for certain areas of it. It's up in there. There's going to be a tree there as well. And I want that to be apparent that it's slightly overlapping there. See? Like so. Way off in the distance. Now that's put in the base of some of the trees here. Now. Okay. If I can remember, as it says, I'll put in the what do you call them, folks? The reference photos. Get this right up into here. All right. Oh, I've got an itch in my arm. In the frosty air. Let's see now. Let's green this one up a bit. Bit too much. A bit darker. A bit darker still. I think I'm going to put a little bit more liquid. Let me see here. Give me a second. I'll put a little bit of liquid out and think about that. I still think it needs to be darker. Yeah. Okay. Oh, right. There we go now. Let me see where he is. Yeah, getting there. That's a bit better. I think I'm a bit happier with that. I have something on my feet here. All right, okay. Now, taking a little bit off the brush. I don't want to be, I don't want to have it too much here. Okay. And that's the horizon line across there, and it's off. Of course it is. But I'll fix it up with a better horizon line. Let me see. A little bit darker. certain areas. Just where I want my main trees to be, I'll be wanting darker spots for them, as it were. And trying not to be too afraid about how you're using your brush as well. Don't be afraid about pushing it in. These are not expensive brushes I'm using, so I have very little care about how they're treated. As you see, I just lightened that up just a little bit. That'll help give it a bit of, I need a dry brush, softish dry brush, there's one. That'll help give it a bit of a highlight there. Just in between there, just to fade that out. Okay, all right now. Let me just have a wee memento for myself. Just having a wee look, folks. I want to put a couple of little huts in it here and there, but I'm going to establish the. I'm just going to establish the trees and all first. All right, and we're off in the distance here, so we want a bit of grayness of what's going on. Now I have gone and picked up the wrong brush. Of course I have, of course, there we go, it's a better one for my purposes. Keeping it grey. That's a bit better. Happier there. Now you can see them off in the distance. And for the big one. Okay, so far I'm liking that. So now, as I say, we're off in the distance, so there's going to be a lot of cool shades here and there and there and here. And because the light is coming in this direction, I'm going to put a cooler shade down in here. It's just always something to keep in mind, folks. Let me see how. I don't want too saturated though, you know. It's always something to keep in mind is to. The further something is away, the cooler it is. Obviously, there are huge exceptions to those types of rules, but generally, these types of things exist for these reasons. I'll put another wee one over here and maybe darken that one a little bit. Just for now. Probably cover the guts of that up a little bit here and there, and I'll just splatter it about. Okay. Now, I'm going to use this white brush just to, along the top here. I think it's just a bit too, along there is fine. No, it's just a bit too, saturated for me. And I'll put that in for the time being until I settle on a color or something. Okay. Right, so a nice warmish tone down here. Warmy grey tone. A little bit of spirits there, just to I think it needs to be darker than that by a good bit too. I'll put a little bit of ultramarine in it because it's a warm, it is a warm thingamajig. Okay, it's a warm blue. Now keeping this dark at the base, just along here, at least for now anyway. Okay. I'm going to establish what? I'm going to establish the embankment. Actually, I'll do that while I have some colors here. Some of these warm colors. Let me see. This is just a little bit of a river coming through, and it's just going to come up to here. And then just, that's a bit dark. That's okay, it's okay. Okay. Let me see. Not no. No, don't like that. Don't like the way it's growing there, so I don't. Let me just take that off a touch. I didn't like the way it was. I'd say almost a straight line across. Yeah, that's a bit better. Slight angle down. That's better for me. I'll bring another one out here. Okay. Right, now let's see if I can establish some water here. At least the ideas of it for the time being. Just the slight impression of it. Let me see. A fair bit brighter than that. A fair bit brighter than that. Good bit of liquid in it. Help it shift a little bit. There we go. Feeling a bit better about that already. I don't want that to be completely covered in water here, so don't. Just a little bit here and there. All right. Okay. Right. Now I want to fix this area up here. I think I'm going to go for a slightly darker tone. And just as I say, I was not happy with it, and I believe I'm becoming happier with it. There we go. Yes. Now, I intend to put on a little house or two. A house or two. So, now, where to put them? Actually, I'm done a wee accident here. So I think that for that's where one of them is going to go, just in behind this here. If I put two on, I'll put another one in the distance away up there. But I'm just thinking to myself. Giving myself a memento. Right, okay. Now let me see what we have here. I probably would be better waiting until this dried, but I'm only marking for it anyway. I'm not really I'm not doing anything about it at the minute. This is just a general, here's where it's going to be type of thing. Bring it in a little bit this way, that's better. I'll sharpen that edge whenever I get the chance. I'll put another little hut right beside it, just down in here. I'll just use the edge of this. Okay. And then, is it big enough? No, you know what? I'll make that a little bit bigger. Just a little bit bigger, because I want one over here too, so. So I think I'm just going to make it just that. Still has a bit of size in it, as it were. Right, and then I will put one over here. There, a smaller one. And I think that that's all I'm going to give that one for now, until I get round to fixing them up, putting edges on them. And I think what I'm going to do is put in a darkish warm base. See, one here, bump, and one here. And I'm going to go into the white here and just drag it down. That's not a special tactic or anything like that. It's just that I thought the roof was a bit long. Is all. Okay. Now what I want to do now is start to create some sharp and softish edges. Now, along here, I want some sharp edges, and just letting it fall in there with the just give me a second, folks, thinking out loud. It's hard to think at times. I'm just letting that break into the water here with the sharp edges and come up into here a little bit. I don't want everything being so soft. Okay. And the same here at the at this one here. Let's bring it across. Little jutting out bits that you get in these things, you know. Adds a little bit of detail, adds a little bit of life, or at least so I believe. Now, let's add a little bit more of a greener posture to it, just along here. Scrape that on. That'll give you some really nice effects. Look at that. The way that just breaks up and creates those effects. Just drag that out over the tip of that. Oh, excuse me. And drag that out. There we go. Now while I'm at it, I might as well create the grasses at the front here. I have the colours down. I'm ready to go. Let me see. Too bright? Yeah, it's a bit too bright. Just a bit though. Let's knock it back a touch. And I'll cool it a wee bit as well, just a touch. And I'm just going to use the brush in this direction here and see what that looks like. Too much on the brush is the problem. I'll wipe a little bit off. Just a little bit. I'm not taking a lot off it. Just a little tiny bit. And there we go. Look at that. See the effects that creates? And then pulling it over the paint and just dropping it down into it. That creates lovely effects. Now, if you watch what I'm doing on the palette, imagine that the back of my hand here is the paint. I'm pulling it across, just like so. Just pulling it across. On the top of that. I don't want any on the tip of it here. I want it on the back of the brush here. I don't want it on the tip of the brush. I want it on the back, so I can do this type of a movement at the top here. What's going to happen is going to mix in with it, and that's what I want it to do for the most part. Okay, now especially at the base of it, I'm going to just use another knife and just gently work it in. If I can find my little, there we go. This is a dry knife, as it were. And all I'm doing here is just gently working this in. Just softening the edges a little bit, pulling it across. So we have a nice, oh, too much on the palette knife. We have a nice area up here of bright sky. And just dragging that down into it, really creating that sky. Yep, nice and bright, folks. Okay, so I think I'll just wait. There's no point in me carrying on here. I think what I'll do is I will just wait. I'm just thinking if there's anything else I could. Yes, you know what? I think I could do something here. If I could use that wee knife again. I'm just scraping this on here, and I'm just going to create some ridges along here. Okay. Just wanted a bit more edges in it. All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a wee look at the the green along here and see what and a very little on the palette knife, very little, and just gently, just testing first of all. Oh, let me see. Yeah, it's I just wiped it off there, wiped it off the palette knife. Aye, that actually worked quite well. That knocks that back a touch. Yes, and what I'll do with a brush is I will lighten it in some places. In the frosty air. Is that, what do I think? For my purposes, I think it's a bit saturated. Well, we'll try it and see. Sure, we can just wipe it off, eh? Just trying not to give myself too much work is all. No point. Not quite there, folks. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna leave that as is. Nice blue shadows under the trees, some depth in it. And I think the way, yes, that looks like, yes. Okay, so just a little touch up here and there, just to differentiate a few things. All right, nice wee ridge there. Top of my foot, still not entirely sure if I am done here, except for the houses. Finding my time to stop on this. I'm unsure about it this time. It's one of those ones where you just that I'm not sure about whether it should stop now or not. And so what I am going to do is take a step back, and I'll come back tomorrow whenever it is somewhat tacked up a bit for me. Yeah, okay, that's what I'll do. I'll fix up the houses. I'll make the roofs here nice and bright so that they pop a little bit, and we'll see where it stands. But for now, I'll see you all again soon enough. Bye for now. I'm going to glaze this on. There's a little bit of white on this brush, so let me see if that's bright enough. Yeah, bright enough for a bit further down. Down in here, it's bright enough. Okay, now I want to brighten the further away place. I'm going to use a little bit of sky in it here, a little bit of pink in it. A little bit of that pink in it, I'll say again. Just take that off into the distance. See, not too happy with that at the minute. It's a bit too, if you see it, it goes like so, like a moustache. So I'll just slightly, there we go, slightly redefine it a little bit. Yes, that's a bit better. Now, I'll get some other colours into it. Just wiping, I'm just putting in, it's not a dry brush, but there's not much on the brush. I'm using it more of a bit of a stain at the minute. Just to stain certain areas. Here and there. Okay. Alright, that's nice. Now all I'm doing here is adding a little bit of detail. What I want to do is fix up some of this water. I think there's too much water for my purposes. So I'm just going to color it in certain areas. It's a bit too dark there. A bit too dark again. That's a bit better. All right. And I just didn't want there to be so much water there. I thought it was drawing the eye too much. I want you to come up here and around here, and just like so. And I thought this was catching your eye a bit too much. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I could end up completely messing this whole thing up. Completely messing it up. I'm going to try something here with the ruler. Here. I'm going to put a bit of grass in here. Just with the ruler. And it may not work. This is a bray ruler. It's a rubberized bray ruler. And what I need to do here is put on a green and then thin it out a little bit with some spirits. So let's get myself a nice sagey green is what I'm after. A nice sagey green. And as I say, let me just check that. Bit darker maybe. Alright, so let's see now. Now, I want to thin this out enough to catch on the brush. Now, I'll just wipe this off if it doesn't work. But, I'm just picking it up. It's very random. The brayer, this ruler, really randomizes it a lot. And I'm not sure that it's working. In the sense that it's not coming off the brush. There's some coming off it, yes, no. There's some coming off it. Isn't enough on it, I believe. I should have made up more paint. I think I'll do that because I don't mind that texture that it's creating there. So I'll make up a bit more. Okay, let's see. Give this another blast at it, will I? And I'll try to be careful. Trying to be careful. Just want to come up here a bit. There we go. Look at that. Look at the lines that that's leaving. That's some texture there, isn't it? Yeah. I quite like that actually. Going to do it here now as well. That is some lovely texture. I'm just going to press into it a bit. It really creates some very random shapes there. Lovely. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of a fence in here. Right, so what I need is a nice sharp brush. So I'm just going to use what's down here. And this is to stop all those people from falling into the water. Just a wee fence along here. Okay, now, and then I'll get myself in a couple of small posts. All right, and I'll do that with the small brush that I had a moment ago. Okay. Ba-ba-da-bum-bum. Just small posts here and there. And this will help tell people that this is a wee fence here. See? Easy to put in. Easy indeed to put in. Right, now I'm just taking a wee moment to myself. I want to see if anything else needs doing I'm looking at the bottom of these trees and I'm wondering if they're dark enough, and I think they are. I think they are. And I'm wondering if the houses are, you know, the two wee huts there, is the roof bright enough? I think it is. Well, then I suppose that'll be it done then. A nice wee rough painting there, folks. I don't know how long this one took. It's been a while since I've been working on it, so maybe have a wee look. But anyway, I'll remove this tape here. I need to have a better go at that. There we go. Okay. Right, let me see now. Oops. There we go. And there it is. We finished painting. Oh, I hope you enjoyed that, folks. I certainly enjoyed doing it. And if you could, please like and subscribe and all of that, you know, and watch a few more, leave them, if you just watch more time and all that helps. It helps with the algorithm. You know, if you're heading out somewhere, just stick it on and play it. It really does help it, and the more people get to see it, the more videos I do, and so on and so on. Anyway, as I say, like and subscribe if you can, and all the best, folks. Thank you very much. Bye for now.